Okay, so picture this real quick. 15 million people packed into the streets of Tehran for a funeral. 15 million. That's basically everybody in a whole country showing up to cry over one guy. And the new boss? The dude who's supposedly running the whole show now? Didn't show up. Not a photo, not a video call, not even a "hey, it's me" voice memo. 4 months in charge, and literally nobody, not his own people, not spies with all their fancy gadgets, has actually seen this man's face. So, yeah. Today we're asking the only question that matters here. Is Iran being run by a ghost right now? Let's hop in. Back in February, the US and Israel launched a surprise war on Iran. And in the very first strikes, like opening move, they hit the house of Iran's top leader, a guy named Ali Khamenei. Ran the country for 37 years, dead, just like that. And not just him, his wife, his daughter, his little grandkid too, gone, same strike. Here's the thing about the pond though. You can't leave the biggest lily pad empty. Somebody's got to jump into that spot fast, or every other frog starts smelling blood in the water and moves in. So about a week later, a group of Iran's top religious judges picked a replacement, his son, Mojtaba. Cool, mystery solved, new leader, everybody move along, right? Except, nope, because this is where it gets weird. Turns out Mojtaba was in that same strike that killed his dad. Word is he came out banged up, hurt foot, black eye, cuts on his face. Iran says he's not badly hurt, no big deal, but here's the part nobody can argue with. The guy basically vanished. No speeches, no public appearances, nothing. His very first message to the whole country? He didn't even read it himself. Some other guy read it out loud on TV for him. Like, imagine your school gets a brand new principal, and the new principal never once shows up to the building, just sends notes through the front office lady. You'd start thinking, wait, is this guy even real? That's basically Iran right now. And it gets even weirder, because the real Mojtaba wouldn't show his face. Iran's government just made a fake one. Straight up AI videos, him giving speeches to huge crowds, him standing next to his dead dad at moments that never even happened. Sit with that for a second. A whole government had to invent a computer-generated stunt double for its own leader. If that's not a red flag, I don't know what is. But here's the twist. Hiding might actually be helping him, at least for right now. See, in the religion most of Iran follows, there's this old, deep respect for leaders who got hurt or killed for the cause, almost like legends. And Mojtaba, wounded in the exact same attack that killed his martyr dad? That's a story Iran can totally milk. One religious leader even said out loud that the fact nobody's seen him says enough about his character. They're literally turning "we can't find our own leader" into a good thing. Wild. And there's another reason it works. As long as he stays a mystery, the people actually running iron day to day, guys like the IRGC, get to make huge decisions and just slap his name on it. Quick pause. Who's the IRGC? Basically Iran's most loyal, most hardcore soldiers. Think of them less like a regular army and more like the leader's personal guard squad, who also happen to run half the country's businesses. Powerful frogs. Very powerful frogs. So they get to blame or credit Mojtaba for anything, and he never has to actually answer for it. It's the world's most convenient shield. You can't grill a frog you can't find. But that shield's got an expiry date, because eventually, every hiding frog's got to come out from under the lily pad. And for Mojtaba, that moment was supposed to be his own dad's funeral. He didn't come. 4 months after his dad got killed, Iran finally throws the funeral, and it's massive. Days of ceremonies, millions of mourners, whole cities shut down. It even spilled over into Iraq. And right before it happens, an Israeli official comes out and says Mojtaba is marked for death, straight up, out loud. So Iran makes a call, keep him home, too risky. Instead, 3 of his brothers show up in his place. Other top officials come out in public for the first time since the war, too. Basically Iran going, look how confident we are, while the actual guy supposedly in charge stays hidden somewhere in a bunker. And get this, right before the funeral, Iran had already started bumping up Mojtaba's religious rank, pushing him toward a bigger title called Ayatollah. Why's that matter? Because by Iran's own rulebook, the top leader is supposed to be a serious religious scholar. Mojtaba wasn't quite there yet on paper. So this wasn't just a nice little bonus, it was Iran quietly filling in a gap before people started asking, wait, is this guy even qualified for the job? During the funeral, in front of hundreds of thousands of people, a performer grabs the mic and just straight up calls for killing President Trump, live, on the mic. First time anyone at this whole event said something that bold. The crowd goes nuts. Chants of "Death to America, Death to Israel," rolling through like waves at a stadium. And it wasn't just chanting either. People in the crowd were literally carrying red flags. Not random red, specific red. It's a flag tied to this centuries-old Shia story about revenge for a murdered leader. So when they wave that flag at a funeral for their murdered leader, that's not decoration, that's a message. And get this, at that exact same moment, on the literal other side of the planet, Trump's giving his own speech for America's birthday, saying the US knocked the hell out of Iran. But here's the part that's actually kind of hilarious in a scary way. Trump did an interview around the same time where he basically said Iran's entire top leadership was all sitting in one place for the funeral, and the US could have quite taken them all out with one shot. But they didn't. Why? Because then there'd be nobody left to negotiate with. He even joked they'd given him a week off for the funeral, like Iran's on some kind of parole. Two countries, two totally different shows, same second. That's not an accident. That's two big frogs flexing for their own crowds back home at the exact same time, one with Chance, one with a live mic on Mount Rushmore. While everybody's stuck on, wait, who's actually in charge, there's a whole other thing going on, and it's about money. The Strait of Hormuz is this narrow strip of water where a fifth of the entire world's oil ships have to squeeze through, like a hallway everybody has to walk through to get anywhere. Whoever controls that hallway controls a giant pile of the world's energy flies. During the war, Iran basically turned it into a toll booth. Ships get checked, then have to pay to get through. Iran swears these aren't tolls, just service fees. Sure, buddy, but word is ships are getting charged somewhere between $1 and $2 million per crossing, per ship. And here's where it gets funny. Trump publicly promised the strait would be permanently toll-free after the peace deal. His own vice president went on TV and backed that up too. Iran's response? Basically, cool story, we're still charging fees. Just don't call it a toll, call it a service. Same toll booth, new sign on the front. Some wild numbers got thrown around too. Iranian commentators floated this could earn them something like $40 to $100 billion a year. Turns out when people actually did the math, the real number's probably closer to $1 or $2 billion. Still real money, just, maybe don't trust a country's own guess about how rich a random toll booth is going to make them. Saudi Arabia's not thrilled either, by the way. Their foreign minister came out and basically said the strait needs to go back to exactly how it was before the war. No new fees, no new rules, nothing. That's not pocket change we're talking about though. That could turn into serious yearly money for a country that's been broke for years. So here's the real picture. While the whole world's staring at, is Mojtaba even really in charge? The frogs actually running the show are quietly stacking cash and control that'll stick around long after this whole mystery gets solved. Here's the real question. What happens once the funeral's done? Once the crying stops and the cameras turn off? Because here's the thing. A hidden leader is only useful for so long. At some point, even the people inside Iran's own government are going to want proof this guy can actually make real calls, not just get his name stamped on other people's decisions. If he finally steps out and looks strong, could actually calm the whole country down. If he stays hidden way longer than this, or worse, if it turns out he's really not steering anything, that cracks the door wide open for a real fight over who runs Iran next. And right now, nobody outside a tiny room in Tehran actually knows which way this goes. That's the strange, tense little moment we're all sitting in. A country that just fought a war, maybe heading toward another one, being represented by a guy most of his own people have never once seen or heard. In the global pond, the biggest frogs don't always win, the smartest ones do. Keep your eyes on the water. I'm the Frogman, and I'll see you in the next one.